Greetings and welcome, Planeswalkers, to our Beastcaller and Mind Mage Loadouts live stream for Magic Legends. What an awesome program we've got today. We're super stoked to be here. We've got more exclusive content reveals, lots of gameplay, giveaways, the works. We got a whole bunch more. So before we jump in, a few quick things to cover. I know you guys are excited to see the action. Just a couple things real quick. First things first. I am SoFech, Community Manager for Perfect World Entertainment. We are the publishers on this stupendous title you're about to see today. And joining us again today, Cryptic's very own mythic rare, Adam Hetenyi, design lead on Magic Legends. How you feeling today, Adam?
I think the term is legendary, Jared. But,
legendary. He is good. Absolutely Magic legendary. Adam Hetenyi.
Yep. Totally thrilled to be here as usual. We got some cool stuff to look at, as I understand.
Awesome. It's great to have you back. And of course, we've got Cryptic's community manager, Cryptic Yavier, hanging out and chat with you guys today. Say hi to her. She'll be modding, and I'm sure you'll see her on a stream pretty soon. So, before we get in, just a few announcements right quick. Most importantly, we are less than 1 month away from Magic Legends Open Beta. That's right, like less than 4 weeks away when Magic Legends enters free-to-play PC Open Beta on Arc and the Epic Games Store. We're almost there. We just wrapped up what I believe was our last closed test, so the next thing that we're doing is Open Beta for all of you to be able to experience on PC. And actually, we want to show you real quick something super cool you guys can get if you log into Arc. There's these exclusive Arc skins, the Vigilante costume set, and also the Bruiser skin for the Ogre Mortar summon. So whether you play on Arc or on Epic Games Store, you get just free exclusive skins. Pretty sweet stuff. And last but not least, we're making these announcements real quick today. Our awesome friends at Razer are hooking you guys up with the chance to win this fantastic mouse. This is a Razer Naga Pro modular wireless gaming mouse. We've got the giveaway link in the title here on Twitch. I think it's in the title on YouTube as well. If anything, it'll be down in the description on YouTube after this. So if you're watching this like over the weekend, you still have a chance to sign up to win, enter to win this fantastic prize. Love Razer stuff. Yeah, I'm using a Razer mouse right now. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, I love Razer gear. They're super cool. They're always hooking us up with great stuff to give to you. So be sure to enter in to win. So we've got a lot of like tech stuff to show today. A good portion of the stream is going to be about the loadouts. So I think we're just gonna hop in and get to it, and we'll start showing you guys some of the loadout stuff.
Sounds great. Yeah. So as you might imagine, in an action RPG, the equipment that you wear is kind of an important thing. So yeah, that's a system that we added over the last year. We were actually originally planning not to have equipment in the game, but this is something that people really wanted. As a feedback that we got really frequently, especially from early testers. And so this is something we decided to go ahead and build out an equipment system. It's something people want in an action RPG. It's something we're very happy to add in. So. Yeah, what do we want to start with, Jared? What do we want to look at?
First, actually, I wanted to make a little shout out for that one person in the YouTube comment who said they wanted to see Beastcaller next. This one's for you, pal. Yeah, so all right, so we're gonna click on the Loadouts tab. So we showed the library off pretty extensively last stream, and we'll cover this too because we've got some fun builds to show for you guys today. But yeah, we want to show just everything that involves your character loadout, because it's not just starting a class in the beginning of the game. You do pick a class in the beginning, but you can unlock the other classes, and there's also your entire library of spells, which you can upgrade. There's also the equipment system, and there's also artifacts, and there's traits, the works. So we just want to kind of detail all these other things. First, actually, I don't know if we can do it in this town. Well, okay, yeah, we can
in this town.
So. All right.
They don't allow this kind of behavior. Yeah. Well, yeah, you can Sanctum here. They're not going to let you, just like throw your axes around.
Yeah. We'll show the Sanctum off too.
There's rules. There's rules.
Yeah. Don't want to get in trouble. Don't want to get thrown in magic jail. In a magic
jail. It's nobody wants to go there. It takes a long time.
So first, I want to show how easy it is to switch classes, because we've mentioned this many times before. We've talked about this a whole bunch, and actually we went over. I think Beastcaller and Mind Mage are the only two that we haven't shown off on stream yet. So I want to show how easy it is to switch between the Beastcaller and the Mind Mage. So right now we are the Beastcaller, and actually, Adam, can you talk a little bit about class switching while I just kind of demo this?
Yeah, you're going to click the button. You're going to go click,
just gonna click
and
the
then
button.
click again, and then click. That's pretty exciting.
There we go.
That's pretty exciting stuff.
Look at that. That's all it is. That's how you change your class right there.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're a Mind Mage. You're dressed and you're still in your Beastcaller outfit. But
yes, which is something else we'll change today. Yeah, we're going to show off the Tailor today.
So yeah, that's a really important part of the game, is that your class is really just part of your build of your kit. So it's a really important part because it defines some permanent powers that you have, right? Your secondary power, your utility power, as well as your primary attack. These are all defined. Your spark power, your traits, all these things are defined by the class that you have. But you could combine that class with any deck that you want to play. You could combine that with any set of artifacts, right? Any set of equipment. So it's all part of the deck building experience, right? Is the class and all these other things. So that's why we think of it as a loadout, right? These are all components that change your gameplay. So yeah, now you're a Sanctifier still dressed in your Beastcaller outfit, but you have your Sanctifier focus, sweet antler helm, all this. But yeah, so it is a core element, but it's just one element that you can swap around and use to create synergies and to get the gameplay style that you really like the most. So let's see. So we have the Beastcaller here, which has a bunch of artifacts, a bunch of equipment on it already, which all do some interesting things, especially in combination with your deck. What do you want to look at first?
Actually, I'll leave it to you. Do you want to look at the artifacts or the equipment first?
Let's go to equipment, I guess.
Equipment, you got it. So for everybody out there just tuning in, this is definitely a pre-alpha version. Like, this build is a build that was even before our last internal test. So this, there's a lot of things that are going to look a little bit temporary. A lot of the things are going to change.
Icons, right?
There's so thank you for understanding. Yeah. But Cryptic being super awesome, allowing us to show all of this cool stuff with you guys today.
Yeah, so pretty soon, of course, all y'all will be able to jump in and play with this stuff yourself. So
absolutely,
what would you say? Just short of a month, no pressure.
Yeah, March 23rd is coming up soon. All right, Adam, take it away. Let's talk about the equipment.
Yeah. Okay. So you have your 6 equipment slots here: head, chest, arms, and legs, as well as 2 accessory slots. You can see these little ring icons here. Every piece of equipment has a core mod. You can see on any of these things, the first mod you see here is a core mod. The very top description here is the core mod, and then you also have 2 adaptive mods, and these mods you can switch around, right, as you unlock them. Whenever you loot a piece of equipment in the game, if you haven't received it before, then it'll also unlock its appearance at the Tailor. And then when you loot that item subsequent times, it will unlock adaptive mod options, and it'll give you reroll materials. Reroll materials let you roll within the range of these various stats, and so you'll never be able to lose any progress here, but you can also potentially jackpot on a reroll and like max out one of your stats. So that's the way we see it. We wanted to avoid like a traditional big inventory management system, so this is the way we kind of solve that, right? As you loot more champions visages, then you'll be able to reroll your champion visages to increase the chance of your soldier spawning, for instance. So yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. There's a lot of things there to unlock, and I'm sure as you look at this, you can imagine how many combinations of effects and triggers you can build out here, right? So we see the equipment and the artifacts and your spells and your class and the traits that you select. We see all these things, working in combination with each other to really create the full deck building experience.
Yeah, and the coolest thing is too, all of these carry over between your different classes.
Yeah,
so you can be whatever class you want: Geomancer, Mind Mage, Beastcaller, like we're showing off today, and all of this gear will just follow your character. It's part of you for forever.
Forever. That's forever. Right. Forever and ever. So yeah, and the way you want to experiment with new builds, or try out new equipment, try out new decks, is that because these elements of deck building of your build are interchangeable like this. You can say, you know what, I'm pretty comfortable with my play style. I like the setup that I have in my artifacts and my gear. I like the triggers, but I'm going to go ahead and swap out my deck to something completely different. And so you have an element that you're already familiar with, that you already know is going to run as a certain machine, and then change something else to really see, whether it's better for you, worse. Maybe it's just novelty, it's just different. But you have really tons and tons of options here.
Excellent.
So we're looking at the deck now, right?
Oh yeah, sure. We can hop over to the deck.
Yeah, let's look at the deck. So the deck is pretty fun, I think, for this build out. So we are playing a Beastcaller, which is a green class, but we're playing a white-black deck, right? So there's no limitations there in terms of the color of the class matching with the artifacts, the gear, the color of the deck. You can really combine whatever you want. This deck is really fun because it's really like like our version of a traditional zoo deck in a little bit. We have a lot of small creatures that we're able to summon out. When we look at artifacts, you're going to see there's a whole lot of creature generation as well. And then we have ways to buff those creatures and keep them alive, right? So Crusader of Odric and the Benelish Marshal, these guys both buff other summons that you have. Zealous Charge is a really powerful sorcery that will buff them really strongly for a little while. It's like a +3/+3 or something. The archers there are just some good ranged bodies. The scathed zombies are some good melee bodies. The reanimator there will make some temporary zombies. The drudge skeleton has regenerate, so he might die, but he'll come back and keep all his buffs and all this. And so there's a really good little machine here where you can create your army, keep them going, and then make them strong. And then on the artifact side, we have more things that are we have more body making.
Oh boy, this adds like a whole another layer of complexity to the game. So it's not just the gear or the deck, it is also the artifacts. There's tons of ways to customize your character and just like tweak little things, get little bonuses to some things, and there's just gonna be like millions of different combinations of loadouts and of deck combinations and builds for you.
So the artifacts, you also have 6 artifacts. These are divided into lesser, greater, and legendary artifacts. The legendary artifacts and the greater artifacts are the ones that have the most like triggered type effects. The lesser ones are more, like stats and power. But the really fun stuff here are the triggers that allow you to generate more zombies, and the things that trigger stuff on the zombies that you are creating, right? The various things that you're creating. So this guy here, Thornbite Altar, whenever you cast a creature spell, you can see it does some damage between you and where that creature got summoned and roots things. And so it also gives you an incentive to two-stage target your creature spells, meaning you can like place them around with your targeting, because it creates, essentially like a bolt effect between you and the summon that you made. Let's look at the Orb of Shiv. That one's pretty fun too.
Yeah, this is insane. We were talking about this before the stream, how overpowered this build is. You guys are going to see something really strong today.
It's just good,
All right, it's good.
So the Orb of Shiv is pretty fun. Whenever you summon creatures, they get a rank 1 Molten Shell on them. Molten Shell is a red spell. It gives an absorb shield, and then it makes them burst fire damage around them periodically for I think it's 10 seconds or 12 seconds. And so, you dump out your 3 Benelish Marshals, or your 3 Benelish Archers, and then each of those Archers is going to be exploding and damaging people nearby for a little while. So, you're making dudes, you're strengthening them, you're making them trigger stuff when they spawn, right? It's like all these combos is really what we want people to get excited about. And then the Tome of Gisa here, what is it when you summon a creature spell? I think? Oh yeah, when you cast a zombie spell, it makes a bonus zombie that is running fast. Everybody loves running zombies, right? It's a classic. So Tome of Gisa makes you your own little running zombie factory. It's pretty fun.
Cool. And then on the lower tier, I think. So I've been testing this build a little bit, and that's why we see a bunch of extra stuff here. But I think the core other lesser artifact is this one, Shard of Power.
Yeah. So we're trying to do some stuff with your Mana Surge, right? We're triggering more spawns off of triggering your Mana Surge. Mana Surge, you can see in the game, is sort of like our ultimate power meter. You can use it with an entire meter to trigger your spark power, or you can use a segment of your meter to give you like a haste buff and a mana regen buff and a spell draw buff, right? So it's kind of depending on what you want, utility or like the big flash. And so by equipping artifacts that recharge our spark meter faster, and then equipping gear that has these effects, right? Like when you activate Mana Surge, a chance to make a zombie that buffs other zombies. When you cast a Mana Surge, it has a chance to make a Benelish Archer, right? All this kind of stuff. You can start to see how this machine works, right? You're getting your dudes out, you're keeping them alive, you're using Mana Surge as much as you can, not saving up for a spark power, but rather using Mana Surge because you're triggering all these additional effects. Yeah, and then you have some more sweet spark recharge on your accessory slots there in your equipment. So
yeah, so lots of great avenues for different synergies, and you can see we have some zombies in here.
Like... Nikolai on our QA team here at Cryptic, he came up with this beast. So we're going to see how powerful it is. Thanks, Nikolai.
Awesome. So I think we're going to hop into the action now. Actually, wait. Before we get into the action, we want to show off the Tailor. And also I want to take a quick tour of the Sanctum too. So here, we're just going to like run around. This is like a major hub for the game. You can see a ton of other players here. We're on like a private shard. I think this build was made basically just for us. So we're going to be the only ones here.
It's a quiet time in Sanctum. It has an occupant of 1 right now, I believe. But yeah, this is kind of the main social area, right? When you're idling in between missions, if you're not hanging out in an overworld somewhere, then you'll probably be hanging out here. It's got all the the main services for the game, the Tailor, and all this other stuff. And it's very pretty, as you can see.
Yep.
Most importantly.
Gorgeous.
Speaking of pretty, that's what we need to do with your character, right?
We're about to make ourselves extra pretty. I mean, like I always say, like the best way to increase your DPS is by looking cool. You got to color coordinate. You got to make your character look as awesome.
Confidence. It's about confidence, right? People say that makes you stronger, sexier, So you got to feel good about the way you look, the way your character looks, to really maximize your performance. I think that's pretty clear. So yeah, we've got some unlocked slots here, right?
Yeah, let's take a look at the Tailor. So actually, let's start on the other side instead of doing clothing first. So I want to show off that you can, like, when you create your character, you can set all of these different levers. Like you can make whatever body type you want, the face, hair color, etc. And then you just come to the Tailor and you can switch this out whenever you want. There are Tailors, I believe, in every major hub in each zone. Cool.
That is correct. Yeah. So, the Tailor really lets you change whatever you want about yourself. That's the way we really see it. Is that the game is not as much about like building alternate characters, but rather changing the character that you have to be the way you want in terms of gameplay mechanics, but also in terms of aesthetics, theming, right? What kind of image you want to present, all that stuff. So. Yeah, you can select colors, change your hair.
Yeah, we have a helmet on right now, so you're not really going to be able to see the hair. Yeah. But yeah, all these options are definitely here and available for you like whenever you want.
And when you unlock classes, then you're unlocking their base costumes as well. And of course, you can mix and match whatever you want. I really personally like playing my Geomancer wearing my Sanctifier clothes.
Yeah.
I feel kind of like a warrior monk kind of a feeling, So
that's funny. I do too.
It's really up to you.
All right, and yeah, so like Adam was mentioning earlier, when you get equipment drops, that unlocks a cosmetic item. And once you have that one drop, then you permanently have that cosmetic unlocked for you. Whether you're wearing that equipment piece or not, you can swap it out at your leisure, and you can still use that cosmetic piece. So we have a bunch of them unlocked here. Shout out to Cryptic for giving us this awesome build and being able to show off all these things, work in progress content. But yeah, it's actually, we want to involve all of you guys, and here I'm gonna start a Twitch poll right quick because we want you to help decide which armor piece for us to get going. So let me go ahead and flip the switch right quick.
What are the choices? How granular are you making this poll? Like 17 choices.
No. Unfortunately, Twitch only lets you choose 5. Yeah. Oh, it closed on me. Okay, that's all right. I'm gonna copy paste real quick. Oops. Oh boy.
Double elimination tournament for new chest plate.
That'd be rad. But we're not showing off PvP right now. That'll be on possibly a later stream.
Ideas,
And while I'm setting this up, actually, this is a nice little opportunity for us to promo again. Razor, shout outs to our great partners over there. Be sure to click that link. It's in the title of the Twitch, just the Twitch title, or it will be in the YouTube description later if you are watching this over the weekend. Get a chance to win one of 3 of these awesome mice, the Razor Naga Pro, for free. I think we're able to ship these globally as well, no restrictions on that. Cool, so back to the game.
All right, I see a poll now.
Yep, all right, Twitch chat, check it out. So the 3 options that are available to us or the 5 options that are available to us right now, I want you guys to help us decide. So here we go. We got the Champion's Cuirass. We have, here, let me actually click on these. There you go. We have the Warden's Robes. Boom.
The Armor of Sarah. The Armor of Sarah took an early lead, but the Demonic Raymond's catching up here.
Yep. Here's the Armor of Sarah.
People don't seem too excited about the Champion's Cuirass, Warden's Robes, or the Apron of Sani's Legacy there.
All right, I'll show them off one more time here. Champions, Wardens, Apron, Armor of Sarah, Demonic Rayments. And cool. While we're going through this, let me re-equip the default Beastcaller. We can just show off.
This neck and neck, man.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. It's too hype. All right. I want to show off some of the other things. So we also have undershirts. And right now, a character is not wearing an undershirt, but we can equip one at any time. And so I like these, like, there's chainmail and there's scale mail down here. There's also these leather ones, which are pretty sweet. Like, I love the plated leather. I basically use that as the underwear for all of my characters.
I'm sure it's really comfortable.
Oh yeah,
You know, it doesn't
flexible
chafe at all,
and
you know?
yeah, it doesn't chafe. Yeah, I'm sure it's light and totally mobile.
Yeah, breathable. Yeah, it's good.
Something really cool is that there are some colors that you can choose, and there are different outfits, like different textures that you can equip. So we can show that there's like linen color 1. You can see right here the green. You can see it's got like a nice like cloth kind of style to it. And then also we have linen color 2. And so the color 1 and color 2 are actually down here. You can choose the color of your entire outfit, and you can just swap this whenever. So color is going to pull from color 1 up top. Color 2 is going to pull from color 2 down at the bottom. And there's also like metallic color, so you can see the nice like shiny speck on that, and also it's got some different creases there and like the normal. We've got metallic color 2 here. You can choose satin, scale mail. There's a clown outfit or something. I don't know what the stripes are, but I actually usually wear that.
It's very French, that's all.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah.
Is that okay? French. Is that okay to say? I think that's okay. We're friends again now, right? So.
And then you've got the arm wear up here as well. So you can switch out just like the forearms.
Oh, I love the furry gloves. I love the furry gloves.
Yeah, this one's a classic. Everybody loves wearing these. And then also you have gloves on the underneath. So here, like the leather ones are super cool. I really like the way these look. And then you also have, similar to the undershirts, you've also got like the metallic 1 and metallic 2, so you can color coordinate. You can swap the colors on each of those. You also have pants, same thing. You've got like chainmail here, the metallic colors, scale mail.
Oh, the poll has a winner.
Oh, does it? Demonic
Raiments.
Pretty
close.
All right.
It was pretty close.
It was super close.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and equip a
I
demonic.
didn't vote though, right? And my vote's worth like 50, so go ahead and
No. We're exempt from all of the giveaways and the polls and all the contests and everything. I know, man.
That's, you mean I don't get like a Razer mouse just for showing the cock?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I've been lied to. This is not cool, man.
I had to buy this one. This one's mine. All right, so we'll just keep it like this.
It's
that was good.
You look
gorgeous.
You look pretty Beastcaller,
perfect.
Right? You got the mighty antler helm. You look like you've been messing some people up in the wilds. It works. It's good.
All right, and actually, since we're playing a black-white deck, let's change the colors too. I'm just gonna make this like that. Boom. Ah, beautiful. And then we'll go ahead and save this out. And you can see there are different save outfit slots. So that's the default one. We're just gonna call this.
Post-apoc or something.
I'm not feeling that clever this morning. We're just gonna. There we go. All right, sweet. So that's the Tailor. Thank you, chat, for helping us choose a nice little outfit for our character here. So we're gonna run through and we're gonna slay some stuff. So real quick, I'm gonna switch back over, and this gives me another opportunity to plug our Razer promo, as we are totally not cheating our way into content today. This is a 100% legitimate stream, I swear. But yeah, shoutouts to Razer for being awesome partners. Be sure to sign up and enter to win. Good stuff. Thanks, Razer. You're the best. Okay.
All right. Should we slay some monsters? Cast some magic spells?
It is. I believe it's loading right now.
All right.
Just making sure. All right. It is indeed loading. Yeah, so unfortunately, because we are on a private server, it takes a little bit to get everything going and to spin things up, but I think we are good now. Yep. All right, cool. We are certainly in queue.
Nice. So where are we going first?
We are going to do a Gavany story mission, I believe, called Well of Souls. Is this a story mission or is this an ordeal?
This is an ordeal.
This is an ordeal.
Okay. Yeah, Well of Souls. So what we're doing here is charging up an amulet for our good friend Nanny Ulo. So anybody who watched last week or caught the stream on VOD somewhere, Nanny Ula is a definitely not evil witch who's definitely not manipulating you to do evil witchy things. You're just, a helpful neighbor. So in the Well of Souls, you're helping your good Nanny Ulo to charge up an amulet by slaying things and feeding it with their souls. Pretty typical black magic thing to do.
Oh yeah.
So the way we kick this off is we throw the amulet onto the plinth here, and then it spawns or turns on these 3 different soul vessels, right? Each of these vessels has radius around it. As you kill enemies nearby, then you're going to charge up that vessel. And then when it's full, you can go turn it into the center, right? Basically cashing your points. So Ordeals are shorter missions. They're more gameplay focused, right? They're more about, you know, these kind of like objectives, right? And pure gameplay loop. We're telling a little bit less story in here. And so, you know, they're also faster typically. So it's kind of different, just a different flavor of content from the instant story missions. So you can see you're filling up the west vessel here pretty quickly as you kill dudes. And you already have some of your summons out.
Many summons,
marshals.
yes.
You have some zombies getting spawned. We didn't even really talk about the Beastcaller very much. Let me talk about the Beastcaller here.
Yeah.
Beastcaller is a melee class, you can see. Swings a big honking axe. And it also has a permanent pet, right? So that's one of the things that sets the Beastcaller apart from the other classes. That fox there with the antlers you can see running around, this is your permanent Ether Fox pet. And so for decks and spells that take advantage of summons, right, or the buff summons, the Beastcaller is, you know, probably a good choice there. Has a lot of synergy since you always have a summon out. You always have somebody you can buff. Speaking of buffing, your utility power is a buff on your pet, which also makes your pet taunt the enemies nearby. So it's a good, you know, kind of protective spell, but it also strengthens your pet so you can use it offensively as well. And then your secondary power is an axe throw, where you hurl your axe along the battlefield, like so. And everything you hit is going to get tagged, and then when those tagged enemies die, you're going to get some healing. So there's some good sustain there for the class. You can just get some health back, chuck your axe in the faces. You know, it's pretty straightforward. And then the spark power is pretty fun. It's a little bit faster than the other spark powers, meaning it runs out more quickly. But you basically turn into like this gigantic whirling dervish. You know, you do a mega whirlwind and slash through everything for a pretty short time. So you just kind of go berserk mode. That's also pretty fun. So yeah, Beastcaller is a good time. I like Beastcaller. So you compare it to the Geomancer. It's a little bit more deliberate, right? I wouldn't say slow, but it's a little bit more deliberate than Geomancer. Geomancer is a bit more frenetic, right, with the leap power and everything. Yeah,
super in your face, just punch everything, punch all the things.
Yeah. It's a little bit more measured playing a Beastcaller since you're not, leaping left and right all over the place. But of course, you could run spells, that are disengages or charge attacks and things like that if that's what you want. Beastcaller is a little more tanky.
Yeah, still melee too. So you do have to get in if you want to use your primary ability, but the secondary ability, utility ability allow you to stay at range if you need to be safe. You just want to run a creature deck, or if you want to get in, that's totally an option too.
I mean, the Beastcaller is a good match to a lot of different deck types, right? So obviously, like running a Z-type deck, the Beastcaller is really nice because you can save your summon and taunt, right? You have some natural synergy there already. But you could also run it with no creatures at all, right? Because you have your permanent pet that can help tank for you, defend for you. It also is really viable for like a purely sorcery jamming combo deck. So it's really. Oh, make sure to use your mana surge. You can see your meter there above the spell bar. You can see that's our mana surge meter, or sorry, our spark power meter. It has 4 segments to it. When all 4 segments are filled, you can cash it in for a full spark power, but you can use individual segments for, like I was mentioning before, a burst to your mana regeneration and to your spell draw speed. So because of the equipment that we're running, whenever he pops one of those mana surges, right, meaning spends one of the segments of his bar, it's going to dump out a zombie that buffs other zombies, a running zombie, and an archer, I think, every time you mana surge. And then those guys are all taking buffs from the other things in your team. So there's a lot of
insane amounts of synergy. Insane amounts.
You can see your army here is just kind of like every enemy that gets close to them is like running into a blender.
I know.
So
I'm trying not to slay too quickly.
That's your real problem, Jared. You're too good. Your skills are out of control. Leave something for the rest of us, man.
Yeah, so something really cool that we showed off a little bit is the Crusader. So the more creatures that we have, the more buff the Crusader is going to be. So you can see on the right side all of our active creatures. So when we summon this Crusader, this guy is insanely buff.
I forgot all about that guy.
Yeah.
I forgot that he's the reverse of the Marshal, right? The Marshal buffs all of your guys, and then the Crusader gets buffed from all of your guys.
Yeah.
That's a good little mirror image there.
And here we can show when I summon a creature, boom, you can see they're exploding. So
They're
that's
gonna
Molten Shell
explode.
being cast on them when they're being summoned.
Yeah,
Insane.
So we have
Insane. All of these little dudes are just like bursting all over the place,
Yeah.
and there's roots
Oh,
coming out.
yeah.
I'm able to like shield them and heal them up, and
when you draw archers, make sure to dump some archers down into the enemies. You can see all 3 of them are go boom, boom, boom. So, you know, we have something we haven't even talked about today. Oh, that's Zealous Chart. That's pretty fun. It's like the banner, but it's like +3/+3 to everything. Just with this many bodies on the screen, that is a ton of power for mana. It is a very efficient spell. What was I going to say? Sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, so we were able to cast a Glorious Anthem here as well, which gives everything 1/1. So that's an enchantment, and so it lasts a long time. So you can see a little buff bar right here, and all of these dudes are getting 1/1 for 30 seconds.
Look at all those little slimes you have. Are those enemy slimes?
Those are enemy slimes.
Those are enemy slimes. Yeah, there we go. With the stream, I can't see the health bar very well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and also down here we've got Wailing Souls, which is just like a nice little line, straight direct damage. It's a cool thing, especially since a lot of the creatures will sort of tank for us. Like, it's sort of like the block mechanic in MTG, where when you have a dude out, it'll sort of protect you as much as it can, at least.
I mean, a lot of what we do is, it's a translation process as we're building an action RPG in the Magic universe, trying to figure out the mechanics that people really like from Magic and seeing how to translate them into an action RPG. And so enemies tanking each other, fighting each other, is really sort of the way we see the combat board in the CCG, right? Blocking, not blocking, that kind of thing. It's like, well, your dudes are always going to try to block in an action RPG. You're not really telling them to ignore enemies, but that's the kind of the translation that we do. It's the same deal actually with our spell hand, right, and the random draw system. You can see you have your spell bar down at the bottom, and as you cast spells, they get replaced randomly from his deck, right? So your spell hand is 4 spells, but you have a deck of 12. So as you cast things, things are coming in a little bit randomly, which is why building synergy into your deck is really important, because you don't have a strict controlled rotation like maybe in other games, but rather you're kind of playing the best play at the time based on what's drawing out of your deck. So the more combos that you include, the more triggers that you can include in your artifacts and your equipment, then the more you have really good choices as your spells draw in your hand. But where are we here? We just did a wolfing hour moment. So this is something that happens in this ordeal, where the wolves come in to try to steal the essence, and you need to go to the center to defend it. But we're mostly talking about, of course, this is the gameplay.
Our essence. Yeah, and we're trying not to spoil too much of the story missions either. Like, there is a lot of lore, and so when we're showing these streams, we just kind of want to hop into the action. We're not really following the way that the campaign takes you through. We showed that a little bit in our first stream, like a month ago now. So if you missed any of that, go back and check out our YouTube channel, or even here on our Twitch. We have the VODs saved. You can see all the other content we've shown off. But right now we're just kind of teleporting into missions because it gets us right into the action. It's quick, it's snappy, it looks cool. But there's a whole campaign, overarching storylines, and you can choose. After you complete the base tutorial, then you can choose which plane you go to and which story you want to follow first. And you can hop back and forth between the two. Really cool.
Yeah, there's a ton of flexibility for players. Once you get through the first region, the order that you go through different regions, or whether you just complete part of one and switch to another, is totally up to you. Each area has its own story, its own, we have an overarching story arc, right, with a villain in these, all these different areas, but each area has its own story, and so you can kind of explore what's most interesting to you, and build your deck, build your character, select your equipment, select your artifacts, do the stuff that you follow your bliss, I think they say.
So we are seeing a completely overpowered deck right now. This is a pretty face roll, but fortunately, I created a bad deck. It's fun, but you guys are gonna see after this one, I created a deck that is intentionally pretty awful, but
bad.
it's fun, right? We want to show off as many diverse things as we can without spoiling too much. There's 170 something spells going to be in open beta on March 23rd. 170 something.
Pretty hefty count, yeah. Yeah, 175-ish, I want to say. So a lot of spells you can build your decks out of.
We probably won't even be showing off half of those on our streams in our lead up. Right. We did sort of tease all of them. If you want to go back and look at the last stream, I scrolled through them and you can see what they're called at least and see some of the icons. But there's going to be a lot more for you all to discover. And that's not even like including all of the different equipment and the artifacts you're going to be getting. And also, we didn't even talk about traits because, well, you unlock traits at max level, and so we don't have any max level characters right now. We're just doing low level stuff because it's easier.
Traits are an important part of deck building too, right? They're permanent powers. They're really they tend to be really impactful, but you only unlock them when you max out a character class, like Jared just said. So the one that we mention a lot is the Geomancer trait called Heart of Iron. Oh, you better run away!
Yeah, that's a big boy.
The Geomancer trait, Heart of Iron, automatically resurrects you when you die. With a cooldown, of course, so it's not just like permanent anti-death, but think about how effective that could be if you're running a deck that's high risk, right? Or you're running a no creature deck where if your enemies get a hold of you, you're in danger. Then running Heart of Iron gives you an insurance policy, right? It makes a really big difference. So that's the way we see our traits, things that make a really big difference and really important to building. But they come into play more, as you get further into the game, as you max out character classes and get into higher difficulties. We have here, we're at the end, we have this powerful Broodmother blasting beams of energy out of the face.
Yeah, Jeebus. All right, we did it.
But your army is making pretty short work of it, though. Once you get these guys pinned down, this deck here, the amount of creature power you have is very high.
Yes.
So, it's good.
And you can see we were able to buff them like absurd amounts. We were able to give them a bunch of shields and a bunch more stats and just generally keep them alive. And also we're taunting and we're keeping things off of them and they're keeping things off of us. And we're doing damage from range. We have a lot of direct damage, a lot of resummons. And of course with our artifacts, we're buffing them some more too, giving them a bunch of power. And this was just like normal dungeon and it's not really scaling properly, so I think we look even more overpowered than we should.
This is a pretty accessible difficulty. You are playing in normal with a relatively low level character, but with a very composed deck and set of equipment, right? Equipment and artifacts. So I do think that this is a really high synergy deck, and at higher difficulties it will be effective, but it won't be quite as just stand back and let your blender kill everything that has the temerity to walk onto your screen. But it shows the kind of stuff that you can create, in the game. It's there's a lot of possibilities. It's something that we take from the CCG also, right? Tabletop card games, like the sense of building a machine is something that's really strong in Magic that people really enjoy about playing Magic and building Magic decks, right, traditionally. And so we want to make sure that you have that same feeling when you're playing Magic Legends, right? That sense that you can assemble a machine where, one trigger triggers another thing and that there's internal synergies between what you're summoning and the spells you're casting. So that's really satisfying. If you just want to throw kind of whatever is appealing to you together into a deck and play it, that's also viable, but it's not going to be nearly as effective as like going through the full building process, right? Coming up with sets of equipment, artifacts, choosing the class that matches the best, picking traits, and then assembling a deck, right, that all work together. There's a lot of moving parts there, but it's there's so much power that you can generate if you go through all those steps.
Cool. So hope you don't mind, Adam. Actually, I know we're running just a little bit over because we still have another combat segment, but I just kind of want to show the level info here for Geomancer, for the Beastcaller. We don't have to talk too much about this. I just kind of want to show the tooltips real quick. But we did mention the trait, and so when you get one of your Planeswalkers to level 30, when this says level 30, that's max level for a Planeswalker, then you unlock this trait. And then there is the trait tab up here, which I think is going to tell you reach level 30 before you can use this. Maybe we'll show that off next stream, actually. I totally spaced on that. But so then you can equip one of these traits, and you can have 3 of them equipped at a time. So you're sort of encouraged to try out, different Planeswalkers and play these, and you will unlock these guys as you progress as well. So even though you're going to... What's that?
I think the Beastcaller trait is the when you summon a creature spell, it makes your biggest power creature fight somebody, I want to say. Right?
Inflict 100% power as damage to enemies that attack it for 10 seconds.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so this is a really fun one, right? And you can see, like, this is again, like I mentioned the Heart of Iron thing in the Geomancer earlier. This is another great example. These traits are very widely applicable, right? So if you run creatures, then this is worthwhile. If you run big creatures, then it's especially worthwhile. Traits are very powerful. They're definitely a big part of your build.
Yeah, and while I switch over here, we showed off a little bit of a different build last time where we had the, oh man, the Baloth, the enormous Baloth. And so that guy is massive. He costs 10 mana to summon, and if you're just like buffing him, then he will probably just be your biggest creature anyway. And just imagine how much damage he's going to do when you have little traits and other like artifacts and things that are complementing that. And there's a lot of other spells too that will deal damage similar to that trait. So find it. Here we go.
No, the Hunt of the Apex spell is
Hunt of the Apex,
important one in this area, right? So that's the way we look at the fight mechanic from the card game, right? Where it's basically taking a creature and making them punch another creature, right? Like making them have a combat with each other. That's the fight mechanic. And so the way we do that is we use a creature's direct power to, deal damage to wherever you're aiming or whoever they're fighting at the time. So the more you buff that creature, the more you're buffing any spells that use that kind of mechanic, right? Where it uses a creature's power. So a little while ago now, actually, we built a deck here in the office trying to come up with the mathematically maximum Hunt of the Apex that we could generate. So everything in the deck, it was like, what is the creature that we can buff the most, right? Building up all of the spells in the deck that are all creature buffs, right? That have durations such that we can get them all concurrently running and then have just enough time to throw a Hunt of the Apex, right? I think we got I think it might have even worked with the Ether Fox at the time, the Beastcaller. Because you have a mechanic, one of the mechanics that doubles its power, right? And so if you do that last, then you're getting the compounded benefits of all the rest. So we ended up with something like a 70 power worth of Hunt of the Apex, just like one-shotting a boss. So that's the kind of investigation we do to try to find, degenerate combos potentially. I saw somebody in chat mention, like, how do you know they're not playing EDH in Magic Legends? There's no infinite combos, right? So we're thinking in that direction of like, what is the most degenerate build? But we also know for a fact that you guys, the player base, are going to come up with much more degenerate builds, much more powerful combinations and synergies than we will. So, really looking forward to seeing what broke-ass builds and overpowered setups that you guys come up probably in like the first day after the game is live in open beta.
Oh yeah. Within like within the first week, there's just going to be decks that we didn't even imagine. Just so much power, and we can't wait for that too. We want you guys to be able to share that with each other. Unfortunately, I think the game, it's a dev build. I think it decided to planeswalk straight off of my computer, so I'm just relaunching it right now, making sure that everything's working okay. But while I'm bringing this back up, this is another good opportunity to highlight our awesome friends at Razer hooking you guys up actually with a chance to win one of 3 of these Razer Naga Pros. Super cool stuff. So the link for that giveaway should be in chat on Twitch. It's definitely in the Twitch title, and it will be in the description on YouTube if you're watching this. It's going to be running throughout the whole weekend. So, all right, it looks like we're good. We planeswalked back into the Earth realm, and let's check this out.
Out of the blue screen realm.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to be playing a Mind Mage now.
This deck is called Loud Noises.
Yeah, oh yeah. So you can name your decks, and you can have a whole bunch of different loadouts of decks that you can switch between as well. And so I just thought, because this deck is really dumb. I don't know if I've detailed this to Adam, but I wanted it to be a taunt deck where you have a bunch of hazards. So you can see this is a thing that says like create a hazard. And then we've got Bathe in Dragonfire, create a hazard. And then we've got Overgrowth, create a hazard. So I want to taunt things into the hazards. So I just want to be like yelling at everything, like, ah, and bringing them into the hazards.
Molten Shell will help there, right? Because that means you're going to be probably getting punched a little bit, right? And then you're a hazard, right? Molten Shell makes you a hazard.
Exactly. So this deck has no creature summons, and it just has a bunch of random damage and circles and a little bit of self-healing. There's some taunts here. Elemental Shatter, also a taunt. Bathe in Dragonfire, super cool. I'm glad we get to show this off today. Rampant Growth, which just gives you more mana, because a lot of these are a little bit expensive. Like Stampede is 6, Rampage is 7. And Choking Overgrowth here to root things so that we can sort of run away from them. Rampage, deals damage to the line.
I'm going to give you a criticism, right? Okay. My criticism is that Rampage, you're only getting the full benefit out of Rampage if you're running enough creatures that you reach that secondary effect limit, right? So it's a double damage spell if your total power toughness is greater than whatever 25, right? I know it's some number.
Yeah.
And so I think that this is still going to be a good bomb spell for you, right? But it's going to be half as bomby as it could be if you're running a more creature-based deck. So, in terms of tuning your terrible deck here, it might be fine actually. Like what I would probably do is take out Rampage and put in, I don't know, maybe a heal or something like that, because you might get into a little bit of trouble. Oh no, you have refreshing.
We have refreshing blade. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the traits of like greens is they generally don't have too much direct damage. It's a lot of creature buffs and stuff. So I tried to find as much direct damage and utility as I could in green. That's why don't try this deck at home, kids. This is just something silly I put together on the fly.
I think it looks pretty fun. Let's give it a shot. Are we running a Mind Mage with this one, or is it still Beastcaller?
Yes. Let me switch back to our beautiful faces and make sure everything is looking good here. Yes, it is. All right, cool. So here, we're going to hop back into the game, and we'll just go over Mind Mage real quick because we haven't done this on stream yet, but I know you guys have seen Mind Mage before. But so the utility ability for the Mind Mage makes your character, your Planeswalker, invisible, and it also gives you a speed boost, but it puts down an illusion of yourself that taunts. So that's sort of the basis of this build, and that's why I wanted to use the Mind Mage for this, is because you have an intrinsic taunt just built into the class.
There you go. It's smart. Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, so the Mind Mage, you can see, is a floaty, finger twiddly caster, very much in the blue mana tradition in Magic, right? Uses the power of the mind to destroy its foes. The buffs are very much around spell casting, right? There's a lot of spell draw synergy in there. What's the, I always forget the trait for the Mind Mage. Let's see, what is the trait?
Non-creature spells grant 1/1 to a random creature you control for 10 seconds.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. I'd forgotten all about that. Yeah, that's perfect. So what that's really saying is running a small amount of creatures with lots of sorceries means you're going to be getting that bonus a lot, right? It's very, very blue magey. Your utility power, like you mentioned, drops an illusion which taunts and then explodes later when you've leveled up and it's upgraded. Your secondary power is a forward cone that will also confuse a couple lower rank enemies, meaning they'll start to attack each other. They're still attackable by you, but they'll attack each other. So it's fun class. I like the Mind Mage. And then the primary attack is basically a barrage of these floating magical orbs. So it's a mid-range class. It's firing these things into a cone in a medium range.
Cool. And each of these classes also just has like intrinsic stat bonuses. So you're getting a primary and a secondary here, which you get, because of the level we're at right now, we're getting 500 control duration potency and also sorcery damage potency. So like Beastcaller has creature damage and creature health. And so depending on which Planeswalker you play, you are just getting like straight stats that help create whatever deck you're using. So these aren't so good for us in this deck, but that's okay. It's still just going to be a fun little deck. But the control duration, I think, is actually going to be okay for us because we have like a root here, and also you just have your primary ability. And we'll try it out. I think it's going to be a little bit of a wild ride here. Let me switch back over to our faces while we legitimately make our way into the Forbidden Vaults, which is a Talaria story mission.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, Forbidden Vault's a fun one. I like that one.
It looks good. Here we go. So while we're loading in, I see a lot of questions about multiplayer. And actually, I think our next stream is going to be focused on multiplayer. So you will be able to see parties. Yeah, and you can play the entire game, as far as I know, solo. So if you just want to run through the whole thing by yourself, totally cool. We got the campaign. You can farm things. You can run back and run these dungeons and do all the story missions. Cool stuff. But also, if you want, you can party with up to 2 other players in a group of 3. So we have some fun decks that we're trying to build out to show some of the synergies that you can do between different players and just the madness that it is having like hundreds of creatures on screen. And also the difficulty will scale up with how many players are in the party. And also, we're showing like low level stuff, so we aren't seeing too many enemy affixes either. There's lots of like special types of enemies that pop up. And we're mostly showing the like in dungeon ordeals and story missions, and there's like the whole overworld, and so you can just go out there and adventure and find other players out in the world too. Yeah,
things can get pretty hectic with all 3 players running, especially if they're running creature heavy decks. Then you get there's definitely an army versus army kind of feeling. But no, that'll be fun. That'll be fun to do the multiplayer stream.
Yep. Cool. So as we're making our way here, I want to show off the utility ability So here's the little the shade, the mimic that taunts, and then it explodes, and then you get a little
taunted
speed
those
boost.
eggs. Those eggs really
taunt
want
the
to punch
eggs?
your mimic. Yeah.
Oh.
Those are some
yeah.
camera eggs over there. You can pop them, little cameras come out.
Yeah, show them.
So we're in Talaria here, which is on the plane of Dominaria, of course. Pop, 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 pop. There you go.
Keep them away from me.
It's kind of a coastal area, right? And there's this is an area that's very based around blue mana, right? We're near the academy, the Talarian Academy, where they do a lot of like research, and there's some artifact stuff going on there too. I don't want to spoil too many things.
Hey, this deck is looking pretty good so far. Wow,
this
is a lot of damage.
Really effective. Yeah, the reason is, I know why, right? Because you are, again, in the lowest level difficulty, and you're wearing the full sets of equipment and artifacts and things, right? And
oh,
so
yeah.
You're getting power from the stuff you have equipped, right? It's boosting up your loadout score, and your loadout score is a multiplier on your health and your damage, right? So instead of things just giving like huge piles of raw stats, we're just kind of collapsing that to, the better your equipment is, the higher level it is, the more upgraded it is, the more it increases your power, right? And so just by having the entire machine already set up, going into the lowest level difficulty with a level 1 character, everything's out of whack. So
Indeed.
Your deck is going to be very, very effective. You're going to pop Molten Shell, and everything around you is just going to like fall dead in all likelihood. But
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, already, even though this deck was, I designed this deck to be bad, and already you can see it's effective. So you can put together basically anything, whatever you want, just mash together a bunch of spells, and you can still be effective in the lower difficulty levels.
Exactly.
But there are 3 difficulty levels above this, 3. And the higher you get to, the more fixes you get. We actually have a blog about difficulty levels and scaling, and it's really cool stuff. There's like world enchantments that automatically apply when you hit the higher level difficulties too.
Yeah, so
you got to deal with a lot of crazy stuff in here. I want to show Dragon.
So definitely, it's definitely pretty accessible, at the low levels, but it can get pretty crazy. Yeah, that's it's a fan favorite. It can definitely get pretty crazy the higher difficulties, especially if you opt into applying extra world enchantments, right? Which you can do in expert and master difficulties, which are gameplay mutators, right? They're like broad mutators that change the mechanics and the levels. The way enemies behave, right? To turn off your mana regeneration, you only get mana when you hit guys, right? That kind of thing. And so the more of those you apply, the more you're boosting up the difficulty, and the more powerful your build needs to be, or the more specific of a solution you need to put together for the the challenges in front of you. So low level like this, especially in an unrealistic scenario of being level 1, but also having completely maxed out everything. Completely maxed out equipment and artifacts and things. In that kind of situation, you probably wouldn't be playing normally. You probably already like jumped up into hard, and level up more quickly.
And speaking of fixes, actually, these guys are champions, and they have a trample, augmented with trample.
Yeah,
so I don't think that's actually doing anything for us because we don't have any creatures.
Trample just needs right?
Hard counter.
Basic attacks. But that's a big part of gameplay is figuring out how to hard counter certain mechanics. So like I mentioned, if you're playing in the end game and you're applying world enchantments to your missions, you might apply world enchantments that have a lot of overlap with each other. So if you have one thing that says much slower mana regeneration but increased toughness, and then something else that says stops mana regeneration but you get mana for punching guys, then you can imagine the same solution that you craft is going to apply to both of those problem cases for the most part, rather. And so there is that additional layer of strategy of deciding which mutators to use, deciding what to build to counter those mutators. Is really gives a lot of options, a lot of permutations in that game. So we've broken into one of the vaults here. So that's as you might imagine, they're just called Forbidden Vaults. And in the Talarian Academy, they've stashed away dangerous artifacts and creatures, right, sources of magic, and put them in protected vaults, which have now been busted open. And so you're going into these now dangerous places and resealing them to get things back to normal in the academy.
Yeah, so we had to pick up that artifact and then take it over to the altar, and I used a taunt, and it just brought all of the enemies away from me, and I was just able to zoop right past all of them, drop the thing in, they all nuked. Excellent. Hey, this is actually working out much better than I intended. I was thinking I was gonna die
American
with this,
Gladiator
but
stuff, right?
yeah.
Wasn't that an old American Gladiators game, right, where you had to like put the Nerf ball in the receptacle or whatever?
Oh
Right?
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I'm talking about. Maybe
Oh
you're
man,
too
I
young
love
for
that. Remember that
Yeah.
cannon game too, where they had to like
Yeah.
shoot the dude and he was like throwing spears at them or something? Oh man, American
You could-
Gladiator, good times.
Taunted, blitz or whatever away from spear tackling the four contestants on that ship.
Cool, so now we're checking out Vault of Souls. Each one of these is going to be slightly different, and it shows a lot of variety of the enemy types too.
Yeah, so it's like some scary undead stuff we got locked away in this vault.
Here, I'm going to try to taunt them into it. Let's see. Yeah, they're just instantly getting murdered.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
I'm
like,
doing so much damage. All right, awesome.
Smell
Good scaling.
The lava vortex. Yeah, the lava vortex immediately incinerated. It's just your skill level, Jared. You're just so good.
Absolutely.
The game,
Elite
the way you push W there. It's just masterful.
I mean, I am getting paid to play video games right now, so pretty stoked about that.
That's what the game industry is, right? That's what everybody thinks.
Oh yeah, that's all it is. It's not about making video games.
It's a good game. It's a good game. If you do good work and you can get it.
Cool, so Elven Assailment, this spell's really cool. It does an insane amount of damage too, but you have to bring the enemy into the circle. Like, look at, they just like rain arrows down.
Long duration.
So much damage.
I adore that, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool I get to be able to show all these hazards.
These hazards that are one-shotting the level.
One-shotting everything.
Yes, they are very hazardous indeed.
But if an enemy were to stand in here, if an enemy were to stand in there, they would be taking damage over time.
Yeah. Yeah, what we'll do next time is see if we can make sure that we have higher difficulties enabled, at least set up, so that we can go, in case we're in the situation where you're clocking guys for 14k when they have 400 health, we can make sure we can get ourselves in a proper difficulty.
Yeah, I'm killing them way faster than they're even spawning. I think we're breaking the game on stream. But yeah, next stream, so be sure to follow our social channels so you know when we're going to be streaming next, because next stream should be really special, because we want to show off all the multiplayer aspects of the game. Oh, here we go. We get to show Choking Overgrowth, so I can just dunk this on him, and it kills them instantly. All right, well, it's supposed to root them, so I can run away and blast them from a distance. But
it was very tactical, right? The best defense is to obliterate your enemy.
Yes.
Leave nothing to remain.
Yeah, but follow us on our social channels. We do giveaways, and we do exclusive reveals, and we have lots of cool blogs. So, this guy does. He wants to pull me in. Yeah, at Be a Magic Legend on Twitter and Facebook, and also right here on Twitch, and you can find us on YouTube, and definitely check us out on Discord too. We have all the links down below on our Twitch channel, so Discord's a really cool place. We got all the devs hanging out there, and that's probably the best place to go to talk to other players about whatever Magic Legends hype that you want to get into. Cool, so we made quick work of this vault. Gonna move on to the next one.
Yeah. Let's see, where do we go next?
So, Adam, I think we have not talked about the mana system in the game yet. Something that is just, it's just, it's so natural for us now. It just feels like a base mechanic. But yeah, I think a lot of people who are possibly new or seeing the game for the first time in action maybe don't understand how the mana system works. So if you want to just detail that for us while we're going to
That's an important thing to know, right? Yeah. How to cast spells in this game that's all about casting spells.
Yeah, like the core system of the game.
So the very bottommost bar there that you can see is mana bar. It's partially red mana and partially green mana. That's because the deck he's built is partially red, partially green. So your mana base adjusts automatically depending on what deck you built. So unlike the card game, you don't have to customize your mana base. It's automatic for you. Spells that you cast cost an amount of mana. You can see on the bottom of the spell, for instance, the Lava Vortex there, it has 2 red and then 3 gray pips on it. What that means is it's going to cost 2 red manas and then 3 other manas that can be paid in red or green mana. That's also how the CCG works, right? Spells cost mana of colors or colorless mana and cast spells. So your regeneration is at a fixed rate while you're in combat, but there's lots of spells and mechanics that can grant you mana, give you increased regeneration. You can always use your mana surge, a stock of your spark power meter to give yourself a burst of mana regeneration, and also spell draw. So if you're in an emergency, quickly knock out a couple spells really quickly, throw a mana surge. And then you can also run, like, say, creatures that will just throw down mana orbs on the ground. There's the Elvish Rejuvenator that'll throw down a mana orb. You pick it up, you get some mana. So, yeah, core resource, regenerates while you're in combat. Run things in your deck to give you more mana, for instance, if you're running a high mana cost deck. That's the way to go, I think.
Cool. And then
which vault are we in here now? The vault of scary creatures.
Yes.
It looks like spiders and creepy stuff.
The Dreadnought Vault, and now we're gonna activate this big boy. Yeah, and so even when you're out of mana, you still have options available to you. So you have your primary ability, which we can see right now. It's just pew-pewing, and that's different for every Planeswalker.
Your core kit is permanent, and it doesn't change. So unlike your spell hand that's rotating as you cast spells, rotating new spells in through your deck, your secondary power and your utility power are always fixed to your class, and they're based on cooldowns. And so Jared can always use his W there, his Q, to do a forward cone. It just has 10-second cooldown.
Yeah, and like we've mentioned before, you can use whatever color mana spells you want on whatever Planeswalker you want. You're not tied to using blue spells with the Mind Mage like we're doing here. We're using red and green on the sort of blue class. But there are benefits to using it because generally blue is about control and about sorceries, and so that's why you gain those benefits for it. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can just mix and match however you want.
There's definite synergies there. There's definite synergies there. It's like I was mentioning with the Beastcaller, Beastcaller with a permanent pet, spells that require a creature summon to exist, to use, like these fight mechanics that I was talking about, those are going to be a lot easier, a lot more synergistic on a Beastcaller. But there's no reason why you shouldn't, run them in other kinds of decks. So, there is some synergies, there are some benefits, but we're really trying to make this as open-ended as possible so players can really, come up with crazy builds, that are either highly effective or that are just really amusing to them, right? Things that are fun distractions or kind of like meme builds and things like that. We really want people to be able to do. So it's we don't want to call the fun police unless we really must.
Yeah. Awesome. I think we're getting pretty close to the end here, so we're gonna be wrapping it up right quick.
Close the most dangerous vault here.
Yep.
Power up your damping fields with these American Gladiator caches.
Oops, I just ran right past it. I saw dudes, and I'm like, oh, I gotta click on them.
Yeah.
But no, I've got to do the missions, do the objective.
Play the objective, Jared.
Yeah. But you can see when we're killing things, we're getting drops, too. There's lots of items and different things that are dropping. On the right, you can see we picked up a bunch of spell shards. And here's some more enemies with augments. They have Death Touch. Ooh, another good one for us, because we don't have any...
Exactly.
We don't have any summons in this deck, so hey, it's all working out for us.
Death Touch murders your summons, but if you don't run creatures, you don't care too much. So,
look at Juicy. That's what I wanted. Just line them all up. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, at least the augmented ones are able to live long enough for you to, do a combo setup.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, this is how you're getting the equipment in the game, right? It's gonna drop from enemies you're killing. This is how you're leveling up your spells. You're getting spell pages. When you get enough spell pages, you can spend some ether to boost up your spells and upgrade them. So yeah, the things that you get definitely matter. Definitely impactful.
Well, this guy's got lasers.
Well, of course. Have you
seen
Dreadnought before?
Oh yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you give your robot lasers?
Yeah, he builds up so much power, he has to expel it somehow. So maybe that's more of like a, it's a safety valve, releasing extra electricity.
Rad. So I think I want to group up a bunch of dudes, and then we can show the spark power.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, actually, have we unlocked it yet? What level do you have to be to unlock it? Is it 6?
Yeah, it's level 6.
Ah, okay, we don't have it.
Spark power.
Oh, that's
only mana surges.
Yeah, only mana surges. Well, we can hit a mana surge because I think we showed a spark power for the Beastcaller earlier. And here.
Did you? Okay, yeah. I trust you. So he just
can just like dump a bunch of mana here.
Yeah.
And then we can pump mana surge, and you can see how fast it's regenerating.
Yeah, there you go.
Incredible.
So it literally lets you spam out some spells real quick, right? It's a pretty common situation to find yourself like cornered by a legendary or something, kind of low on mana, and having that opportunity to just kind of like, actually no, I'm gonna go ahead and fill up my mana bar, throw some spells in, escape from this danger. It's a good little utility that you always have available to you.
Zoom past these guys. I went past it again. I I'm just looking at, oh, where's the things to kill? All right, here they are. Just group them up, AoE them down. This is my kind of deck.
Go Archers.
I wasn't expecting much from this, but it's actually super fun.
Run into higher difficulty. Let me know. I've got some.
Oh, yeah.
Very curious. Yeah.
Then we'll be in a little bit of trouble. We have nothing to really tank for us, but cool.
All right, good deal. We have closed all these dangerous vaults. We have saved the academy from certain destruction.
And then we get our
justified reward here.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the bodyguard. Wait, oh, you got to scroll left. Look at the bodyguard. This guy's super fun.
It doesn't show the description, so we don't have to spoil these guys if we don't want to.
Like, okay, no, I'm gonna mention it just for a second.
Right.
First of all, it's very strongly inspired by the original veteran bodyguard Carhartt. You guys should look it up. It's a very oily, muscly guy. And our veteran bodyguard is very similar to the card. It protects you, it taunts things, yeah. But I just adore where we ended up with the art for this guy, because you can see the direct inspiration from the card art to the in-game.
Yep. Cool.
Anyway,
so here are our rewards.
We can jump out of here. I'm just a big veteran bodyguard fan.
Yep. Planeswalk out, and I think that just about does it for all the content we wanted to show off today. Good stuff. We had some insanely strong builds. I can't believe it. Next time, when we are doing multiplayer, we'll definitely show off some of the higher difficulty levels, some of the world enchantments and the things that kind of modify the different content that's available. But also in the multiplayer stream, which is coming up next. So next stream, be sure to follow us on our social channels so that you know when that's going to be happening. And also we have tons of announcements and cool stuff and special reveals and all sorts of stuff that's going to be coming up in our lead up to open beta. So be sure to follow us at Be a Magic Legend on Twitter and Facebook. And also you can check out our Discord, which is also Be a Magic Legend. All the links are down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, then it should be in the description. If you're watching this on Twitch, we got buttons down there as I planeswalk in. And before we go, also, shoutouts to Razer for hooking you guys up with the chance to win this Razer Naga Pro wireless gaming mouse. So the giveaway for that should be in the description in YouTube if you're watching this on the VOD, or if you're watching this over the weekend, and also right now on Twitch. Last chance, it is in the title. So this will be running throughout the weekend. Free, go ahead, check it out. Shoutouts to Razer, awesome partner, always giving out cool free stuff to you guys, and I think we're able to ship that globally too. So be sure to sign up. But yeah, any closing words before we do the last sort of shout outs, Adam?
No, just looking forward to the next stream. Multiplayer is really fun in the game. So, we're just marching towards open beta here. Can't wait for everybody to play the game. Yep. So what is the thing we say? We'll see you in the multiverse, right?
Yeah. See you in the multiverse. So yeah, open beta for Magic Legends hits PC on March 23rd, 2021. That is less than 4 weeks away, less than a month away. We are so close, home stretch, and you can check that out on the Epic Games Store or on Arc. So you can choose whichever one you want, and there are some exclusive skins and stuff for either one of those. And just show our little Arc promo here one more time before we're out. You can get these for free. It's just skins if you play on Arc, and also there's different things you can get for playing on Epic too. So yeah, shout outs to all of you guys for joining us here today. Thank you so much. It's been a blast. We love doing these streams, so much fun. And props to Cryptic for allowing us to show this. And yeah, big ups to them, making this awesome game you guys are gonna be able to play pretty soon, real soon. So this last month is just gonna fly by.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, one more plug for our social channels.
You're telling me, man.
Yeah, I know, you gotta work on it. But yeah, one more plug for our social channels. Definitely follow us, Twitter and Facebook at Be a Magic Legend, and especially our Discord server too. We got the devs there, and that's the best place to chat about Magic Legends. You can find it at discord.gg/beamagiclegend, and also, we got links for that all over the place. But there's gonna be so many more announcements in this last month, so you definitely wanna be, up to date on those things. You wanna be the first to know about those, so follow us on our social channels. And I think that just about does it. So
right.
For Cryptic, for Perfect World, for Adam, for myself, thanks so much, and we'll see you next time. Wave till we're out.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.